And welcome everyone, thank you very much for doing my latest episode. It's a very special one. Really, I want to talk about the Emre Can situation. Obviously, it's been going on for a while now. The last 12 months, Emre's been entering the last year of his contract. And obviously, coming of the 1st of January, if anything before that is not signed by, obviously, Emre and the club don't offer him a contract, he can leave. And he can already discuss it, obviously, from the 1st of January. He can sign a pre-contract agreement with any club really in Europe, and obviously the clubs that have been linked with him in the last couple of months, it's obviously been Juventus are looking like the main ones, and maybe a possible return to Bayern Munich or maybe even Paris Saint-Germain if they come in for Emre. Obviously, he's very much a senior figure now in the Germany national team. He can play right back, centre back, obviously in the midfield, his favourite position anyway. But I wanted to know your thoughts, really. It's a frustration of mine, but really I want to know what you just think. Obviously, we're bringing Naby Keita in the end of this season, so he could replace the burden. But for me, and I want to know what you think, really. Do you think it's really much of a loss, obviously, with the bringing in of, obviously, Naby in the summer? Or do you think it may be even a blessing in disguise? Not really a blessing in disguise, obviously, if we do lose him on a free, but I mean in relation, obviously, to Grujic, free up of space in the team, obviously, for Grujic to come in, especially like even this season, but it allowed Grujic even possibly to get a more of a bigger shout in the squad, and obviously with Naby coming in as well, and any other really central midfielders anyway. But let me know your thoughts. Would you try your best, if you were manager of Liverpool Football Club, to give Emre Can a contract? For me, I would do... I wouldn't. I'd try and maybe get him to sign a release clause in his contract and be like, Emre, if you want to go, you can go. Give him like a 3-year deal with possibly of a 20 to a 30 million pound buyout clause. Obviously, but if it gets to January the 1st, we're at Liverpool Football Club and knackered. But I've got the quotes coming from Jurgen Klopp and his press conference. He talked about obviously Emre. Jurgen Klopp discusses Emre Can's Liverpool future aims contract statements. He goes on to say today, there is nothing new, Jurgen said. I said it a few times. It's our job to make the club exciting as exciting as possible. It's allowed that he could sign a contract with Liverpool in May. I have no problem with that. As long as Emre doesn't give me one sign that his mind is elsewhere, I don't have to talk about it. Everything is okay from my side. And obviously Emre Can, I mentioned before, he could sign a pre-contract agreement with a European club when the transfer window opens in January. And he goes on to conclude, Jurgen, that's part of football as well. If it happens like this, we cannot change it. If there's a player out there with a contract ending next summer and he's good, we could try and do the same in that player's situation. What do I do now? Say it's a big problem and say we need to sort it out now? It is, Jurgen. Well, if he could get it sorted. To put pressure on the player or the club would make no sense. We have to respect when a contract ends. If a contract ends, there are two sides who could have done things differently. And it concludes on the final line. Now, we've already talked too much about it. It's just a normal situation. Obviously, in relation to football and terms, transfer dealings and all that. Players have in the past gone for Bosmans anyway. But for me, I want to know your thoughts. Get involved in the comment section below. And yeah, thank you very much. It's really, and if you like this video, leave a like, it'd be very much appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as well. But really to conclude on this issue, really, Emre Can, whether he leaves Liverpool Football Club, he's got a very bright future. For me, I think I've labelled Adam, when I've watched him, he's too inconsistent. Obviously, given his young age, players that age are going to still be inconsistent, but has been players in the past that have got to his age, and they've got to a very consistent level. You just look at Dele Alli and Harry Kane, really, as young players to look at. They're at a level, really, the last 3 seasons, they've been banging in 20, 15 goals. If Emre was banging in 15, 20 goals a season, which he isn't, but obviously he's not a goal-scoring midfielder, Emre Can, but he can get a lot of goals. But for me, he's really undeveloped still, to the point where obviously we signed him from Bayern Munich. For me, I think I'm not too downhearted if we did let him go, but I want to know your thoughts as well. Would you be frustrated? Obviously, it's a thing Arsenal do, don't they? They let their players run out of contract. But for me, I'm frustrated, really. But if it comes to the end of, obviously, this window and the transfer window, and he's agreed to join Juventus, I know, and we all know, that we've got Naby Keita coming in, and we've got Gliwic in midfield, and obviously there's potential of obviously getting other replacements. And who would you feel that if obviously we're losing a very good midfielder? I really do rate Emre Can, but I think if his consistency become a lot more apparent at the back end of the season, we'd be like, oh, what have we done? We shot ourselves in the foot. But let me know your replacements, really, if he does go. The situation, are you happy at the club with them not obviously getting the contract situation sorted? I'm frustrated as well, but I want to know your thoughts as well. Replacements, Emre Can, do you think he'll have a good season? What Jurgen's have to say then as well? As always, everyone, I'll leave the full extended interview in the description on the drop down, so you can check it out in the full extent. But as always, I want to thank you very much for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the family, and smash that like button if you very much appreciate it, everyone. See you later. And obviously I'm doing my West Ham pre-match build-up show. If you haven't seen that, check that out. I've done this before, obviously, that video. So it's right, everyone, up to there. Have a good night, and I'll see you very soon. All the best. Ciao.